Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jim Kleiber Show. Today is Wednesday, October 7th. It is 1:01 p.m., 1 minute late today. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to be late sometimes. This idea that we constantly have to be on time. Oh, goodness. I mean, there's ramifications to being late. The thing about being late is that it can be really disrespectful to the people who are waiting for you, who cut short their interactions so that they could show up on time. At the same time, when we put so much pressure on being on time, we cut short interactions with other people. It's a constant battle, huh? Whether to prioritize the thing that's happening right now or prioritize the thing that's going to happen in the future at a specific time. Then how much does it hurt when we cut short the activities that we love in the moment and we show up on time and nobody else does? And we feel very frustrated that we made the sacrifice and that others didn't. Oh, showing up on time and showing up late. Yeah, I love how different cultures have different definitions of what's on time and what's late. I think it was when I was in school. I think if I was in like high school or middle school, if I showed up 5 minutes late to class, I wasn't allowed in class. A lot of times they would lock the door. Sometimes the teacher would lock the door right at the bell. And so if I weren't inside the classroom by the time that the bell rang, I was late. And not only late, they didn't just mark me late, they wouldn't let me in the classroom. I think I overall was on time to most things, but I can remember some of my friends being quite late quite frequently. But when I went to different cultures, especially when I was living in Costa Rica, or even more so when I was living in East Africa, late has a different time frame. Late isn't showing up 1 minute late or 2 minutes late. If you show up 30 minutes late, it's still okay for most things. I think so. Now, again, it depends on the culture of the person. If the person is more of kind of a Western, has worked with a lot of Western people, or just has more of a Western mindset in some ways, or just for whatever reason, just cares much more about punctuality, then it's not okay. It really depends. I think cultures are a helpful lens to help us see how people may perceive the world differently, but it doesn't always mean that that's how they perceive the world. I remember a good friend in Tanzania was very punctual. I said, I need to hire this guy. He is much more punctual than I am. I need to hire him. For some reason, some way in Tanzania, with all of the buses and the transport and the power outages and things like this, he would show up on time always. He'd show up 5-10 minutes early. I was like, man, this guy. Sometimes, lateness is okay because of different environmental situations, right? So if we live in a city that's known for having a lot of traffic, then perhaps there's more flexibility on people being late because it happens, whether people can try their hardest to be on time, but there's only so much that we can do outside of, so much we can do that's not outside of our control. Anyways, just a little ramble to start this, talking about lateness, because something I was thinking about earlier, and I wonder how it ties into politics, as I try to tie the personal into the political a lot, is the tempo of our lives, the tempo of how quickly we speak or how slowly. I was thinking that despite not really going anywhere for the last 6 or 7 months, pretty much being in the house where I was born and raised most of the time, I seem to be running, not physically, but like my mind and my emotions and my movements and my speech and my thought, just moving very fast, very quickly through life. I'll read an article on my phone, and I'll try to read it as quickly as I possibly can so I can finish it and go to the next article, or try to get as much as I possibly can from it before it's done. And then I'll send a message to somebody. I'll try to send it as fast as I possibly can. I want to send this message. My thumbs are flying, like trying to go as quick as I can to send this message to the person. Or I'll watch TV and I'll try to soak up everything they're saying, getting frustrated that they're moving so slowly. I'll watch fast television so it goes faster. I'm watching TV and an advertisement comes on, a commercial comes up, and then I switch to my phone because the commercial is slowing me down from the action. I want to keep going. I don't want to slow down. And I reflect on running some workshops, specifically, where was it? I think I ran a workshop it was in Germany. Pretty sure it was in Germany. I ran a workshop and called it Emotional Self-Defense. And at the end of the workshop, I did a cool down activity. And I said, I want people to walk as slowly as possible for 10 minutes. And so we walked around the room. It was 5-10 minutes. We walked around the room slowly, and we finished. And then I asked people how the experience was for them. And some people said they loved it. They felt so relaxed that they finally found their body slowing down, taking a breath after maybe it's been 3 days of chaotic workshops so far. Like at that point, we're at a lot of back-to-back workshops, long days. Other people got very angry and very frustrated that they don't like slowing down and they did not want to end slowing down, that they hate slowing down. Why did they make me slow down? Why did you make me slow down? I was like, whoa. How many of us don't like to slow down? Rather, how many of us, when we're moving fast, don't want to be told to slow down? Can even go the opposite way. How many of us, when we're moving slowly, don't want to be told to speed up? How much of life's conflict comes from just the simple conflict in tempo? One person is moving more quickly or more slowly than the other and tries to get that person to move at their speed. Oh my goodness. One person understands something quickly and the other person understands it more slowly. One person communicates more quickly and the other person communicates more slowly. I mean, often I find myself in the situation where I communicate very quickly. Right now, I'm intentionally trying to communicate more slowly. And I notice when I'm communicating so quickly that I have a tendency to stumble over my words a little more. And more importantly, I have a tendency to interrupt other people because they're thinking and processing and speaking more slowly. And I get impatient. I get very impatient. Come on, please, just get to the point already. I know the point you're going to make. Can you just please get to the point so I can make the point I want to make? Oh, does that ever happen to you? On either side, are you the person who speaks quickly and interrupts somebody a lot? Or are you the person who speaks more slowly and people are always, often stepping on your toes and pushing you out of the conversation? Part of the struggle for me is just recognizing the pause, right? So in conversation, there's, I don't know what the technical term is, but there's a certain pause for interruptions, or turn taking, they call it, I think, where you pause to wait to see when it's somebody else's turn to speak. And when people speak slowly, I think their pauses are also longer and they expect a longer pause. But when we're thinking more quickly, I think the pause, we perceive the pause as maybe something that should be shorter. Ooh, relativity of time. Ain't Einstein spot on. Yeah, so I wonder how much of life really is just this conflict in how quickly we're moving, but not just our bodies, but also our minds and our language and our communication. And I think I have a tendency to go too fast at times, but other times I can be slower than the other person too. And slow and fast are not uh, good or bad things; they're just different. I think sometimes in the US we assume fast and is more efficient and therefore more, therefore better. I don't think so. I just think they're different. Sometimes when I'm really tired, or I'm really kind of in a sad state, or I'm really reflective state, I don't want to move fast. And I want to calm down. I want to relax. I want to move slowly. And so when somebody comes in, I'm like, whoa, chill out. What chill out means is slow down, get to my speed. I don't want to be, I don't want to have to speed up to catch you. I want you to slow down so that we're walking together. How much does that happen when we're walking on the street with someone as well and they're walking really fast? It's like, no, slow. Or we're walking really fast. Come on, let's go. Why are you wasting time? Hurry up. What is wrong with you? Why are you walking so slowly? Oh, God. So I talk about this because I wonder how much this plays into politics as well. You know, if politics is related to the personal, how many of us are sitting there and going on Twitter? Twitter's fast. It's hard to be slow. It's like hard to move slowly on Twitter. Twitter moves fast. You hit refresh and brrr, all these new things. You read something, it's short. So read it, boom, move on. Read it, move, go. And that's just reading. If you're tweeting and people start replying, ooh, it's hard in one conversation, in person, one-on-one, to maintain the pace of the conversation, because the other person, you say something, the other person may go, oh, I can't believe this, and they start, and they're down the stream of the conversation, 100 yards, 100 meters before you realize and have a time to catch up. But on the internet, and on Twitter, there could be 10 or 20 different threads happening at the same time based on the one tweet that you posted. Boom, 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 boom. And they're all starting to make accusations and accuse you of this and defend each other and go. I mean, it could be Facebook, similar thing. Boom, boom, you make one post and, one group of friends are talking about this and they're fighting against each other. Another group is fighting against each other, attacking you over here, and they're blaming you here. And you're like, oh, goodness, how do I keep up? And a lot of us on our phones, especially if we don't type fast, it can frustrate us. It can frustrate us a lot. Even on our computers if we don't type fast. But even if we do type fast, it can still raise the tempo of our interactions and cause us to feel a lot of the emotions that are associated with such high tempos. Relaxed is not a very high tempo. I think they call it like high arousal or something in some of the scientific literature. But basically like heart beating faster and like breath rate increasing. This is my guess. So like that's more like excitement or anxiety or nervousness or fear. Those are typically associated with higher tempo emotions, I would guess. And so when we're on a platform like this, is it possible to be relaxed on Twitter? Is it possible to be calm? Is it possible to be sad? Is it possible to have some of these slower interactions on a platform that's very focused on quick interactions? I don't know. Same with Facebook. Facebook, and it's not as short or as quick as Twitter, but it's still pretty short and quick. You say something, the other person responds, you say, whoa, back and forth. But it's maybe a little more contained. A lot of times it's just our friends on Facebook, the people that we've already kind of filtered in some way, whereas Twitter, it's open to the whole world. how does that compare to being in a chat group when you're chatting with somebody in a group? Again, the thing with a chat group is that it all goes in one line. And so if you say something, all people can jump in, they can just, twist the topic in one direction. So if you're not quick, the topic disappears and you can't say the point you wanted to say. So you have to be really quick. So it almost encourages or incentivizes going faster. Other platforms are like this. I go on a platform called Hacker News, which not as fast, but it still has that the element of like things aren't popular on the front page longer than maybe a day, and therefore people don't pay too much attention to them longer than a day. There's not a lot of active notifications, if there are any, for people to know when something had been commented on, unless it was their own comment or it was like directly to their comment. And so there's the, oh no, I need to talk about this now before it disappears. There's that urgency. Speaking of that, I mean, I think Snapchat started the idea of stories, where you have a 24-hour post that disappears, and it's typically either videos or photos. And the post, the series of posts will disappear after 24 hours. I believe Snapchat started it, Instagram copied it, WhatsApp copied it, Facebook copied it, all companies owned by Facebook. Google announced today that they're copying it as well, or using it as well. I don't know how Google will use it. I think I read Slack said that they were using it as well. And it's fine. It's just it has, again, a bias towards this urgency of commenting before something disappears. So you have to be there, and less quick than, you don't have to be as quick as you do on some of the other platforms where there's back and forth interaction. Like, again, on like a group chat, many people can chime in, so you're going to lose your place in the conversation. If you don't jump in. Stories don't have that, because typically the reply goes to the one person, and so it's more of just catching it before it disappears. But it still can instill this, I need to constantly check in, I need to constantly be there. If there's something new, I have to comment before it disappears. What other technology? Different technology. Letter writing is slow. Online forums can be really slow. Some of the forums, where they're more long form, there's a software called Discourse that prioritizes more long form writing, maybe similar to email, typically a little longer form, especially if it's one-to-one. Again, if it's multiple people, you get into the problem of like a group chat where you have one chain and you're trying to jump in before the conversation turns. Just like an in-person chat, if you had 5 people in a room or 20 people in a room, you got to make your point before it disappears. So it biases towards those who are, speaking up more quickly and loudly. And what else is there? I'm just trying to take some of the things I've learned from facilitating workshops and trainings and apply them here. Because one thing that happens a lot in workshops is that often the structure of the session is biased towards the people who are the loudest and the fastest, and doesn't give a lot of space to the people who want to move more slowly. And I think we see that in a lot of our interactions online. So the ones who are being the loudest or who are moving the fastest seem to get the most attention, because they're tweeting out, 20 times an hour or 50 times an hour, or who knows, like once a minute or more. Boom, 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 rapid fire. And it's hard to keep up. And a lot of these platforms don't give priority to the people who are speaking slowly and infrequently. The person who is in a meeting that doesn't say much, but when they say something, it matters a lot because they don't say much. There doesn't seem to be much incentive in a lot of these feeds and algorithms to prioritize that person. From what I've been reading, a lot of it is trying to, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe Facebook or Twitter or Google or some of these prioritize the person who's not speaking too much, the person who is interacting infrequently with the platform. But I doubt it. I really doubt it. So I think there is a bias towards those who are moving fast. And what kind of impact does that have on politics? What kind of impact does that have on society? What kind of impact does that have on our lives when we're moving so quickly all the time? When we can't slow down, when we don't slow down, when we don't want to slow down. We can slow down if we want to. But how much is, just constantly moving us forward? I can't speak for other people. I can speak for myself and know that a lot of times I feel guilty when I'm not moving fast enough, because I think I'm not doing enough, which comes into I think I'm lazy, which comes into, oh no, I'm bad because I'm lazy. Wow, that's a deeply held American belief in general, but I would say held around a lot of parts of the world as well. I the idea of like sleeping in and sleeping too much can be seen as being lazy in many cultures, moving slowly, not kind of keeping up with the pace. But when I look at the political situation in the US, at least from the governance standpoint, I thought one of the main benefits of government was to slow down, was to kind of slow down the process, deliberate. Deliberation is slow. Deliberate is not something one does in a haste. Oh, I gotta go deliberate with somebody. No. Deliberation is this slow, kind of reflective, exploratory dialogue, I thought. But how do we have that in a society where moving slowly is often considered bad? Gosh, one of the things and one of the reasons I think I like Joe Biden is because he moves a little more slowly. He speaks a little more slowly. He slows me down instead of speeds me up. When I watch Trump, I have this feeling of go, 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 go. And it makes me anxious, nervous, afraid, annoyed, angry, frustrated, a lot of those emotions. Whereas Biden slows down. And for looking at a country that is going through a tremendous amount of uncertainty and anxiety as it relates to still a relatively unknown virus that is taking the lives of many. And, as a result, causing a lot of people to lose jobs, maybe lose their houses. I don't know. I feel excited to have someone who will help us slow down and process all of this. Let us digest what has happened, what is happening. We can't move fast the whole time. Oh, our little hearts can't take it. Need to slow down, relax, sleep soundly. I smile a little bit because even when I'm speaking quickly, I have people tell me, "Oh, you have this very calming effect on me." I said, "What?" I felt all frenetic. I was going really fast. But maybe I wasn't. Maybe still it was maybe moving more slowly than they were moving in their heads, and it could bring them down to a different pace, a different tempo. What would it look like if the country just slowed down? We just slowed down. Even on our vacations, we move fast. Oh, we got to go do this and this. Oh, we got to brag about how many things we did on our vacation. Why don't we just talk about how we did nothing? We just relaxed. It's not even doing nothing. What we did was relaxing. We let our bodies go. We just relaxed. And we slowed down. Tonight I'm going to have another show, a special post-vice presidential debate show. I hope some of you can join me on that. I will probably be moving quickly. I hope to maintain a steady pace because I've noticed in my life that I'm moving so fast that it's starting to affect my body, like my joints get tight, my neck gets tight, things like this. And I notice when I slow down, things start to come back. I might get sick when I slow down, but it's okay because my body says, hey, we want to fight this thing off. Slow down so we can heal whatever it is that's ailing you instead of being stuck in stress. So I don't know if this is helpful for you. I know sometimes listening to somebody speak a little more slowly can really frustrate me. I remember watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Fred Rogers, or Pope Francis, or even Martin Luther King Jr. speak. Many people that I look up to and admire. And they speak really slowly. I remember watching a documentary about the Pope Francis. And I felt so frustrated for the first 10 to 20 minutes. So frustrated. Like, come on now, just speak. But then I got into the tempo. And I cried. I think I cried a lot in that movie. Maybe that's what we're afraid of. I remember one guy saying he didn't want to start crying because he didn't think he would ever stop. We stop. Just let it go through us and come back to joy. So I hope you appreciated the slowness of this talk. I hope it didn't bore you or frustrate you, but rather made you feel a little more relaxed, a little more calm, a little more hopeful as it comes to politics and to life. And just maybe made you realize that moving slowly is not bad. Sometimes it's the simplest thing we can do to help ourselves, is to just slow down. Wiki. Oh, okay. As I'm trying to move slowly, I look at the clock and I go, the clock has finished. That is 30 minutes. I appreciate y'all for chiming in and hope that this hit you in the heart in like a soft, tender way. Ciao, y'all.